Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to make this bong. I had a picture sent to me from a friend of mine who wanted me to make this for her son. So this is what I did, which looks like the picture. The picture's from Pinterest, but this is my own design, so I thought I would do a video with you. You're going to need some tule. That's what the smoke is. Let's jump right into this. So, let's measure this guy. He's about 9.5 inches. With the tule, he's about 11.5 inches. He's almost a foot. He's almost a foot long with the tule. And then his base is about, I don't know, 4.5 inches wide-ish. So I'm using a 4.5 millimeter hook for this because that's basically what my yarn calls for. So whatever yarn you're using, just use the hook that's associated with it. This color is Violet from Red Heart. I'm going to use that for just for the stripes around. And then my main color is going to be yellow. And this is a Red Heart Lemon. So I'm going to start with this. These colors here, if you wanted to do the same colors, these colors, this was a Lion brand, and it's baby blue, but the label says it's pastel green. Or pastel? Pastel green. Sorry, not pastel. Pastel green. But it's not. It's baby blue. So I'm not sure why they're colorblind over there. And this is just a Craft Smart blue. That's the color that was on the tag. Was just blue. You're also going to need safety eyes and some black to make the mouth. But anyway. So we're going to make a magic ring of 6 single crochets. You're going to need a stitch marker because I built this in amigurumi. So because it's amigurumi, we don't slip stitch, we don't chain. We go directly into our stitch and we just start creating. So your next round is going to be 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So after your first stitch, that's where your marker goes in. And then we can put in stitch number 2 in that same space. So 2 single crochets in the same space all the way around gives you 12 stitches. Your next round is going to be 1 single crochets and an increase. That's my 1 single crochet, always with my marker. So your next stitch gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. And repeat. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets all the way around. And that'll give you 18 stitches when you're done. Your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. And this will give you 24 stitches. That's number 1. That's number 2. And then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. And repeat. Your next round is going to be 3 single crochets and an increase. That's number 1. That's 3 single crochets. So your next stitch gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. This will give you 30 stitches when you're done. Your next round is going to be 4 single crochets and an increase, and this will bring you up to 36 stitches. So we increase by 6 every row because we started with a magic ring of 6 single crochets, and then we doubled it. So if I was to start with a magic ring of 6, but I didn't put 2 single crochets, I did like 1 single crochet increase, I didn't double it right away, and then we would increase by 3 every round. It's like would be half. But because we did one magic ring of 6 single crochets and then we doubled it right away, we increased by 6. So that's number 1. That's 4 single crochets, and then your next stitch gets the increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. Your next round is going to be 5 single crochets and an increase. This will bring you up to 42 stitches. Your next round is going to be 6 single crochet increase, and this will bring you up to 48 stitches. So your last increase round is going to be 7 single crochet increase. This will bring you up to 54 stitches. And then that is it. We're not increasing anymore. So this is what you should have. You should have 54 stitches. For the next 6 rows, you're just going to put 1 single crochet in each of these 54 stitches. If you don't have one of these guys yet, this is a row counter. You can buy them dirt cheap at Walmart or Amazon, and probably Hobby Lobby, probably Joann's, probably Michael's. They're fabulous. Anyway, 54 stitches, 6 rows, and I will see you on the other side. So this is what you should have. Something like this. This bong's going to be bigger than the other one because it's a bigger yarn. It's still a 4-weight yarn, but it's thicker. So we're going to start decreasing now. So because we ended off on a 7 single crochet increase, we're going to start with a 7 single crochet decrease, and we're going to go down from there. That's number 1. That's 7 single crochets, and then my decreases are in the front loops. So go into your front loops. This is invisible, and you by no means have to do this. I'm going to go into my front loop, and I'm going to pop around and go into my second front loop. And then I'm going to yarn over, pull through, and finish the stitch. So that's an invisible decrease. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. I'll show you again. Front loop, front loop, finish the stitch. So this will bring it down to 48 stitches. So your next round is going to be 6 single crochets and a decrease, and this will bring you down to 42 stitches. That's number 1. That's 6 single crochets, and then my invisible decrease again, front loop, yarn over, pull through, finish the stitch. Your next round is going to be 5 single crochets and a decrease. This will bring you down to 36 stitches. That's number 1. Your next round is going to be 4 single crochets and a decrease, and this will bring you down to 30 stitches, and then we're going to put the eyes in after we're done this row. So we're going to put the eyes in now. Put their thing at the back. We always put that at the back. That's where we're going to be doing our color changes, so we definitely want the eyeballs in the front. So I did between the 6th and 7th row from the bottom. I think from the bottom. No, not from the bottom. 6 and 7. I'm using 12mm just because I'm putting an eyelid over it, and that's why they're so big. And then I did 7 stitches in between, visible ones. 7. Make sure you stay in the same line. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your stitches have to be visible, but you can do whatever you want with your eyes. My guy's pretty big. Make sure you put the backs on. We can start stuffing it now that we have our eyes in. So I like to push out and then fill the hole that I dig. It actually helps me not overstuff. So your next decrease is going to be 3 single crochets and a decrease, and this brings you down to 24 stitches. So I made the stack 21 stitches. So I'm just making sure mine's filled at the bottom properly. I got a weird decrease to do because I only wanted 21 stitches. 18 was too small, 24 seemed too big. So I needed to do a weird decrease to get the number that I wanted. So this sequence won't work out evenly. You'll have an extra stitch to fill, but should be fine. So just make sure he's nice and round. Your next decrease is going to be the same as your last one, but you're not going to get all the way around. So you're going to do another 3 single crochet decrease, but I think you only get around like 5 times, and then you have 1 extra stitch. So just do it until you can't anymore. You should have 1 extra stitch. You're just going to put a single crochet in that. So 3 single crochet decrease. I had 4 extra stitches, so I either did my first one wrong or I did this one wrong. Anyway, hopefully I have 21, whatever stitches you have. That's what your stack's going to be. So I'm just going to make sure mine's completely the way I want it before I start building the stack on the bottom. I want to make sure he's nice and round. He's pretty cute. Make sure the bottom stays somewhat flat because you want him to sit up on his own. So we should have 21 stitches, I hope.
Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21.
21 stitches. For the next 7 rows, and that's what we're going to do before our first stripe is 7 rows. So for the next 7 rows, I just want you to put 1 single crochet in each of these 21 stitches. So this is what you should have at this point. We're gonna change colors. If you're doing stripes with me, then we're changing colors. If you're not, in total, it's 23 rows. So minus the 7 you just did. So just keep going if you're not doing stripes. If you are doing stripes, we're gonna go into our last stitch here, and we're gonna pull up a loop, but we're gonna finish it with our new color. and I'm going to tie my straggler to my old color so I don't have to weave. I'm leaving my hook in there just to make sure my tension is correct. And then I'm going to do some snipping, cut off my yellow. Oh crap, don't cut off your yellow. Do not cut off your yellow. I don't know why I just did that. I'm going back to yellow, so I didn't need to cut my yellow off, so I'll have to add my yellow again. For the next 2 rows, you're just going to do 1 single crochet in each of these stitches with your stripe color. So I'm on my last stitch. I have to go back to yellow. You can just pull it up if you didn't snip it off, but I snipped off because I'm an idiot. So I'm going to reattach. I'm not going to snip anything off this time. And then from here, you're going to do 6 rounds with the bong color. I'm not snipping. So you're going to need to stuff as you go too. Try not to stuff in here because you want it to be round, and then so just go down here. If you feel like you have to put a wire in here, that's fine. Mine's fine without a wire, so. So for the next 6 rows, you're going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch. And then we go back to making another line, so we go back to our purple. So I'm done my 6 rows. So I'm going to change back to the purple using my last stitch. And I'm going to do 2 rows of the purple. So I've done my 2 rows, but I'm going to be switching colors over here. I want to keep it even with here, so I'm actually going to move my marker spot over to a couple of stitches to make it even. So I'm going to change my color here because I'm right above this, just because I don't want the difference. And it's fine, you're still going to have the same amount of stitches. So you're going to do another 6 rows with your bong color. And then we'll change color again. So I'm going back to my purple. I'm not going to need, oh no, I will need my yellow. So with your purple, you're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Your next round is going to be front post single crochet. So you're going to go in and you're going to pick up that post. Just like that. Turn my light down. That seems awful bright. So you're going to go in and pick up that post right there. And then you're going to do a single crochet. I don't really need to mark this because you'll see what happens. So you're going to put a great big rim on the top of it. So we just picked up this post, but you got to go back down the same place you came out to pick up the next post. And then you pull through and do a single crochet. So you're going to continue to do this all the way around. And it's going to put a nice thick ridge on the top. It puts that on the top. So I have one more post. It's like right in the shared space with the marker, but you still need to put one in there. Oh, don't pull all the way through though. We're going back to yellow. So go back to your yellow. So that's the nice thick ridge it puts on there. So we're going to need to finish stuffing this. So we're going back into the stitches from the row. So the row before, you've got all these stitches and they're just tiny stitches. Just stick your hook wherever, but it's going to be on the inside of this. So we're going to do a 2 single crochet decrease using these stitches down here. That's number 1, number 2, and then your decrease. So you can't really do a normal, like an invisible decrease, so just do a normal one. So your next round is going to be a 1 single crochet decrease. We're going to pop over here to this stitch to start. there's one more stitch, but we're just going to pretend it's not there because we need to pull it together anyway. So it's 1 single crochet, and then you can again just do a regular decrease if you want to. This is literally our last row, and then we're closing it up. So and then we are going to fasten off. So you need a cinching and a weaving tail. That's about it. Your secondary color, you just need a weaving tail. I've got it all wrapped around. So this has to cinch down like that, so it can't be sticking up. So just don't put any more stuffing in the top of this. Usually this is where I'm saying make sure it's completely full. Not in this sense. I don't think we need to have it completely full. So you're going to use the front loops. So you're going to go in and out in that front loop, out the next. So just a few times. So pull that tight, push down when you do it. We're going to make a knot. So go through the loop. I'm going to make a knot again this way because that's just what I do. So when we weave, I'm going to make sure this gets pulled all the way down. We are going to be, so I've pulled that right down. So here's where we're going to be putting the tulle. So this is supposed to look open, but that's where all the smoke is going to go. So make sure it gets pulled right down. And then you can go ahead and weave. I would go through the yarn and not the holes, but when you weave, make sure you stay as close to your lead as possible. But try to poke down through the yarn. It just gives a much better hold. And go in multiple directions. And then this guy, I'm just going to weave him in along the top. Won't really be noticeable. Unless you know it's there, then you'll see it. So that should be concave, like I said. And this is our cute little guy so far. So let's do the eyelids. They're pretty quick. Then we'll figure out a mouth. The tulle will be the last, and then we'll make the bowl. So the eyelids, we're going to start with a chain 7, and I would suggest making them the same color as your bong. You want to notice that they're there because we're trying to make them look stoned, right? But at the same time, you don't want them to look like eyebrows. You want them to look like eyelids, so that's why they're going to be the same color. So chain 7. We're going to do 2 single crochets. And then 2 half double crochets. And then 2 double crochets. Or single crochets. Did I say double over here? I don't know. 2 single crochets, 2 half double crochets, 2 single crochets. Fasten off. That is it. You just need a sewing tail. So it gives it a little bit of a curve. Let's do it again. Alrighty. This guy, you can do whatever you want with him, as you just use him to kind of anchor my work. So the curve part is at the top, and the pointy part, actually, let's do this. Let's take this and put that in here. It kind of brings it around to a better shape. There, it doesn't look so squared off now. It may change when you sew it. So he goes part way over the eyeball like that. So once he's sewed, I just kind of pull this middle part back up. And then I'm going to go meet up with my straggler. I'm going to tie these in a knot, tight double knot. Cut it off, leaving a couple of little nubbies, and I'm going to poke it down. So the mouth, you can use any color you want. I just use black. You just need a little bit. So I think my mouth on this guy is going to be a little different, but that's the mouth I did on him because that's what the picture looked like, because this one was requested, so I had to build it the way they wanted it. So I came in out and just kind of scooched across, making sure I was still in the same, and I put a little bit of glue here just to keep the mouth in that shape. This mouth on this guy is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to kind of do a side grin, I think. We'll see how it looks. It doesn't matter where you come in, it just matters where you pop out. So I'm going to try to just pop out underneath the eye a little bit. And I don't know. I mean, you can play around with the grins. You can put a little grin on him like this. You can do a side grin on him like that. I don't know, what else can you do? All kinds of different things that you can do. So I'm going to leave it loose because I want to put glue there. So it's just a little bit of glue. And that just gives me a little side grin like that. So I use this gray. I have no idea what color this is because it's just scrap yarn. So I use that gray. And this is not scrap yarn, but I don't have a tag. I have a tag somewhere. So this is Bernat Super Value, and the color is Lush, and that's what I used for the herb. So I'm still using my 4.5. Get your little gray or whatever you're using for whatever color, the color you want for your bowl. And we're going to start with a magic ring of 6 single crochets. So in this next round, instead of using the full stitch, we're just going to use the front loops to do our 2 single crochets in each stitch. So not the full stitch. The first one's going to be hard to get into, but all the rest should be fine. So 2 single crochets in every front loop. So your next round is just going to be 1 single crochet in each of these full stitches. Should have 12. Your next round is going to be 2 single crochets and an increase. So we're not using the bowl like this. I mean, I guess you can if you want to. We're using the bowl like this. So that is going to get sewn. So we need that flat. So we're using the wrong side to do our thing. But if it's easier for you to do this last row of 2 single crochet increase, you can flip it over, but you're going to have to flip it back. But I'll do all that with you. So 2 single crochet increase brings you to 16 stitches. That's number 1 with your marker. That's number 2, and then your increase of 2 single crochets in the same space. And repeat. So that's it. You can fasten off. I need a sewing tail. So, to make this look even, since we work in a spiral, you kind of gotta make things look a little more evener. So go into this next stitch, and then you're gonna come down and go through the front loop of that stitch and pull. So that makes things look a lot better, and that just looks like a stitch. So we're gonna scooch from here down to the bottom where we need to sew from. We are sewing this way, so this is all the inside. This guy is going to be used as an anchor. So when we sew, we're going to sew this on first. So figure out where you want your bowl, and then this goes down, and we're just going to kind of anchor him with that. And use a pin. So the pin might get in the way a little bit. So we're going to sew him on first, and then we're going to sew our herb in there after we make it. So I'm going to meet up with my anchor. I'm going to make sure I'm in the same hole with my anchor. And then I'm going to tie those into a double knot. And then poke it down. Uh-oh. This might be what happens when you don't quite have them in the same hole. So it should stand up on its own once you get all the stuffing in the right place. So let's do our herb. This is where we change hooks. We're going to go down to a 3mm. Yeah, 3mm. And we'll get our green. You might have a better color. You don't have to use the same colors as me. You might have a better color. So the puff stitch that I used is just kind of a small puff stitch. It's going to be 3 half doubles in the same space. If you know what a puff stitch is, some people use doubles, some people use half doubles, some people, do 5 of them, some people do. But I'll walk you through what a double is, or a puff stitch is, if you don't already know. But first we're going to chain 12. So that's my 12. You're going to skip these 2 stitches, and into the third one you're going to do 3 half double crochets, all in the same stitch. Keep it all loose. So now you're going to pull this up because you're going to remove your hook. You're going to go into the first stitch that you made and you're going to loop that on again. You're going to yarn over it and you're going to pull through and then secure it. So that's a little tiny puff stitch. You're going to skip 2 and you're going to do it again. So that's how we're going to make our herb. So that's 3 half doubles. Pull up to come out of that loop. You're going to go through the first stitch you made. And get in there. You're going to latch back onto that loop. You're going to pull through and make a stitch. So this is going to get all wound up in a little ball as you go. Skip 2, do it again. Three half doubles. Skip 2. So in the very last stitch, so when you do your secure thing, that's where you're going to fasten off. But you're going to need a sewing tail. So this is just a bunch of rolled up crap right now. And that's exactly what you want because we're just going to jam it down inside the bowl. So, first, of course, I got my anchor ready. This time I'm going to make sure I pop out in a decent hole. So, this is not the easiest thing to sew down, especially when you need it to kind of be all puffy. But whatever you do, you can pull up after, and that's all I did. I just pulled up after. So you're just going to kind of go through parts that in and out. I think I got too big of a tail, but just try not to pull tight. You're just going to go in and out of a couple of spots just to make sure it doesn't fall out. And you can move this around and do all kinds of stuff. So I moved it around a bit and then I'm going to come down and meet my anchor. So it's nothing serious with the sewing. And don't pull tight because like I said, you kind of want to be able to puff this up, move it around, do whatever with it. So after I've met up with my anchor, you know what I'm going to do. That time I actually went down an actual hole. So, like I said, you can puff this up, you can do whatever you're going to do with it, but that's what I did to make the herb. So, all that's left is the tulle up top. So, I just got this white and I cut it into strips. That's probably easier to see. It's still hard to see. I just got this from Michael's, just a roll of tulle, so that's all you need. And I mean, my strips are not uniform. They're just strips. They're not even straight. They're just strips, and you can use as many as you want. So I'll just make sure it gets all pushed back down. And then your smoke can be however long you want your smoke to be. I cut some of mine off. And that is it. So that's my smoke. And that is how we do a bong. Turn this up a bit. There we go. It's hard to fit him in. Thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.